Hello everyone, Michael here for Tactica Imperialis. Welcome to today's video. Today is going to be a bit of a random video, a bit of a chat, ramble type of thing, although I'm not going to be doing it alone because, well, I think I get tired of the sound of my own voice and I need to give my throat a break. So I have gone and got a guest on. Now normally I would get one of my friends on, Kieran and Ben, normally would be someone here, I'd get another YouTuber, and today I have got just that. So you may not know this channel, it's quite a new one, quite a small one, so I thought I'd leave in my hand, and it is the Yellow Sigmarine. I'm going to have to ask about that name during the video because it drives me up the wall. So I'll put a link to his channel in the description. If you like what you listen to here, you can go and check him out. So I'll just let him do his intro, and then we will get on with the video. Go for it.
Wow, that was on the spot. What am I going to do, sing a song? My name's Alex. My name is Alex. My YouTube channel is called Yellow Sigmarine. You may be very disappointed to know that my Sigmarites, who are being nice, are white, which is very upsetting to a lot of people. It's also more upsetting to a lot of people when they find out that I actually like Sigmarites. Just by the name, you'd think I didn't like them. Yeah,
it does sound like a bit of a Mickey take for the fact that Stormcast look like Marines, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I like to take the neutral ground with it, because I find that if I do it like that, then I sort of draw in both sides, because, you know, you get the people who are like, oh, he's named himself after it, so he must like it to some extent.
But then you've got the people who are like, he's making an Ultramarine reference or something.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so, I get that. The first thing that came to my head when I read it was a Beatles song, I'll be honest.
Well, that was what it, yeah, that, of course, yeah. I'd be stupid if I'd missed that one.
Yeah, that one would have been a really bad one to miss. Yeah, that's... I didn't have a yellow painted Stormcast. I've only got the red Prosecutor that I've done for one of my projects on screen. Otherwise, I would have done it yellow in honour of the guest, but I don't have one, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Escutaria yellow, if that helps, but yeah.
Fair enough. Well, you've got at least something here at the start. I haven't actually seen any of your 40k stuff yet. I don't think you've put...
It's coming along, but... I don't know, I've got a video coming out, I think, about, like... I really want to do Heresy, but... I want to get Calf, I really do, but you know Legion? What it is, price, and yeah.
What Legion?
Raven Guard. What about you?
Well, I did a sort of top 5 Primarchs, that just kind of fits the theory, and I'd probably go 1,000 Suns, given the choice.
Right.
Just because Magnus. I don't know if you watched the, If the Emperor Had a Text-to-Speech Device series.
I do.
Well, great. Magnus won me over in that series.
I find him annoying in that.
I love that Magnus because he's just like, he reminds me of me, snarky as hell. I love that character.
He's all whiny and everything. I like the Custodians in that.
I do like Kitten. Kitten's cool. Did you see, there was a video on 40k theories about the Custodians and the comment section just blew up with Kitten everywhere.
When was that? I don't know, I do watch 40k. I watch most of that stuff. You know?
Yeah, it was a couple of weeks to a month ago, and Alpha was just like, I thought I'd come and have a look at the comments, and lo and behold, kittens and oiled abs everywhere.
Oh, yeah. I missed the first series for all the oiled abs stuff.
Well, I actually tuned into the series in episode 14. I was like, this series is weird, and I went back and watched the first few. I was like, okay, I love this. This is brilliant.
Yeah.
Honestly, just give it to GW and make it canon. It would just be hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know. I just hope they do something with that soon.
Well, season 2's finished, so I think it'll be taking some time off, and then I'll do season 3 with.
Season's finish again.
It's 10 episodes a season. I think the last one finished either just before or just after Christmas. I think.
Yeah, what were they doing in the last one? I think it was kind of like.
Oh, they brought 2 Primarchs back.
2 Primarchs.
I won't spoil it for the viewers because I think they should go and look at it for themselves. But there were 2 Primarchs.
I'm gonna do that.
You really should. It's episode 20. It's really worth a watch.
I know who it was. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, that was just like, I actually did pretty much exactly what the Emperor did. Just went, hey, like what? What did you just do? It was very clever. So yeah, seeing as we're talking about channels, where are you? I know obviously you've started off with your AOS projects and stuff. Have you got any plans coming up, just so the viewers know what to expect if they go and head over there?
Well, don't expect anything, because I might just change my mind. You know, I'm doing this as Idic B always seems to say, like, I was really good, I have to say. Yeah, I'm kind of very pretentious now. But yeah, it's more just a motivation thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
You know, if everyone wants to come and look as well, that's cool, you know, that's fine. But, you know, I'm not in any kind of illusion of, like, growing into some massive thing and sustaining myself on it, because that is...
Oh, goodness, no, like, even mini wargaming can't sustain itself on YT alone. No, it's got the vault.
I worry about them, you know, when they're sort of talking in the same way, I'm like, is there something behind this? Are they worried or something? I hope not, I really do.
No, I wouldn't worry about the big channels. They'll all support themselves. I mean, I had a pipe dream that I might monetize this channel and just use it to top up my income, but it's like...
Well, I'm not saying no, you know, but...
Yeah, I'll never say never, but it's just, once you start monetizing content, I feel like it becomes your job, whether you want it to or not, and that puts pressures on. Like, I try and upload 3 times a week, give up 2-3 times a week if I can, just so as I'm getting content and it keeps me going, but I would never want to be paid for it, because then I'm feeling under pressure to get more content out, to get more views, get more cash through, and that's just not what I want to do with my life.
People expect things of you, I guess.
Yeah, there's more expectancy when you monetize and you advertise. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a bit of shameless self-promotion or cross-promotion, but if you're actually getting paid, I think there's, at least inside, there's your own expectation of what you think your content should be. So it's something I'm going to think about, but I'm not even going to look at numbers until I get to 1K subs and I can actually read the thing, which is going to be a while, so I'm not even that bothered.
Yeah, well, it seems to be pretty exponential, you know, the bigger you get.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. That's kind of why this year I've sort of taken it on myself to give a bit back. Like, when I started off, I was in your position. I got to go on Warwick's show, and he threw subs my way. It was great, and I really still owe Warwick so much for that.
Is that the Commissar Warwick?
Oh yeah, Commissar Warwick. Because I went on his show talking about the new Orc rumour when the Orc Codex was coming round, and that really helped. And then we did a couple of videos later. I've never actually met the guy for a battle report, but it's one of those things that, because every YouTuber I know lives down south. Every single one.
It's crazy. Actually, I was watching one of Striking Scorpion's Apocalypse ones today.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, my mate Will."
That's Warwick.
It's Warwick. Yeah, it's like the film guy's like, it's like, oh, that's Commissar Warwick. I know that voice.
Yeah, I do like Warwick. But you're right. He helped me out, and it's got me where I'm at now. And I think if a smaller channel is starting out, we owe it to ourselves and we owe it to them to help them out, because the bigger this community gets, the better, as I see it.
Yeah, especially at the moment where people are worried about where it's going and everything like that.
Oh, yeah, I think that is definitely a topic of conversation. Absolutely. I think we should probably actually start there before we go anywhere else, because it sort of brings up AOS. We can move on, segue quite nicely into AOS, but let's get that end times discussion out of the way and deal with the elephant in the room.
I don't know, did you follow the end times very closely?
In fantasy, lore-wise, no. My mate has got all the books now, Kieran, and he told me some of the lore, and it's like, it's so well written, the end times.
Well, the big books or the little books?
The big ones, like Archaon Kane.
Big ones look great. I don't just about the little ones so much.
I didn't really keep up. I just kept up with the releases, so I knew what was going on, and then I sort of kept up with the lore towards the end. But all the little bits, like there's a story in Archaon, and Nagash is talking to Arkan, and Arkan and Nagash are like besties. And Nagash just turns to Arkan and he says, "Die well." And that's it. And it's apparently so well written that Kieran was like, "Oh my god." It's so... The lore is so good for the end times. But obviously now we're into AOS, and that opened up a can of worms and half.
I feel like things are calming down.
Things calmed down, and then Curse of the Wulfen happened.
Yeah. They're pathetic, aren't they? I know they're watching this now, but they are. Calm the hell down, honestly.
Well, I would never tell someone to calm down, because the one difference between having a discussion and ranting is like, I did an end times discussion when fantasy was done. I did a should we do a 40k end times? Could we do it? And I said to myself, I don't think it's a good idea, but if they did, here's how I'd do it.
Referring to changing rules or changing law?
Mainly just how they'd move the lore along. I didn't really talk about rules at the time because, well, I still don't know how I would balance out 40k because there is no way to do it.
No, well, I don't know, sometimes, I don't know, I agree with you, but I feel like they could definitely try harder. Like, sometimes they'll do a rules release, like the latest Orc Decurion thing.
Yes, I've kept up with that.
Yeah, it's out, and, well, you can always say it probably won't be quite as good as the Necron, or it'll be a little bit better than something else. It's obviously not even close to as good as them, and sometimes you just feel like, if you're a rules designer, you think you'd get it a little bit closer, you know what I mean?
Well, I think there's part of the problem is Necrons were the first.
Yeah.
And so they probably over-tuned Necrons. And the problem is if you over-tune one and you want everyone else to fall into line, do you over-tune everyone and leave the ones you haven't done yet completely in the dust, or do you give the rest of them a chance, but at the risk of leaving Necrons too strong? Yes, you could look at Eldar and say, well, Eldar were also ridiculous, but let's be fair, without a Decurion, Eldar are ridiculous. So I feel like the Orc, as people have been nicknaming it on the internet, the Orcurion, is at the right power level. Like, the problem I think people have with it is the investment cost. Like, it's like 1,000 points plus to put the core and your Gazkul formation on the table to get what you need to actually make the formation work at its maximum efficiency. I mean, I have no qualms doing it because 6 squads of boys for me, I can do that at 6 squads of 20 and be like, yo, dude.
The 20 orcs?
I painted a green tide last semester. I've got 115 sluggers, 20 shooters.
Shooter boys. Have you had much luck with shooter boys?
I never used them for ages because I got Black Reach and then I got a Battle Force. So Black Reach gave me a bunch of sluggers and I just found that sluggers and choppers were more cool because I loved rolling a million dice in combat.
Yeah, me too. I don't understand it. I mean, like, maybe our shooters cheaper? I think they're the same.
It was the same back then. I think it's now 1 point different.
Yeah.
I feel like
the only time I've ever played a game where I felt like I must take shooter boys is in like one of the old kill team rules where you had to take shooter boys as your troops, you know?
I never saw that rule, but I don't know. Shooters, like, this is why I think orcs will never be top tier. Their shooting is not good enough. Like, they have it's like Borderlands. You have 87 bazillion guns in the orc army. But nobody can hit. No. And, like, I don't know. Like, if it was me, I prefer sluggers to shooters because they're more fun. But shooters to sluggers, there is no downside to shooters apart from one attack. If sluggers and choppers gave a buff and they cost the same, I would actually make it quite difficult to choose. Like, let's say you put slugger boys up to 7 points, and then you say, I don't know, choppers give +1 strength for 2 rounds of combat instead of 1 like Furious Charge does. So they have an extra round at strength 4, which is a really big thing, by the way. And then it makes you think, okay, if I'm going to be throwing myself into combat and I'm going to make it stick because I've got sticky dudes with heavy armor and Pain Boy, I want to keep that strength 4. I can sacrifice a bit of shooting, but I get strength 4 for longer.
Yeah, it does seem a bit mad that, sure, a Space Marine's stronger than an Orc, but I think an Orc is closer in strength to a Space Marine than he is to an Imperial.
Well, the whole strength section is compressed between 3 and 6. There's not much out there as a base stat of S7 or 2. Everything's sort of squished between 3 and 6, and that makes the line really hard to draw, I think.
Yeah.
Plus, you've got to bear in mind the way orcs work is the longer they fight, the stronger they get. So, like, orcs the size of guardsmen is kind of normal, but orcs the size of space marines are orcs that have been on campaign for a long time. So, I think there should almost be a Biggins option, kind of like Fantasy used to have. Do you remember Orc Biggins?
Yeah, it's my mate on YouTube as well, actually. He's called Boss Stroessel, actually.
I don't know him.
Video about, he's doing videos on his fantasy ones, actually. He does them with blue war paint.
Oh, Savage Orcs. Or Death Skulls. Death Skulls are the...
I think it's like they're kind of based on an ice base, so they're blue. It's just the blue war paint, but no, you don't really get specific clans of fantasy, do you?
No. To be fair, 40k, I think they missed the trick with orcs to not give clan tactics like chapter tactics. I really do.
Yes.
And regimental tactics for guard. Trick missed, I think.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Guard should have really got it before the Marine, really.
But
I guess I don't know.
It's harder to do because there's less unique stuff. Anyway, we got very sidetracked there. We just went off on something. Let's get back to 40k end times. Right, okay. So, have you read Curse of the Wulfen?
I can't afford Curse of the Wulfen.
Have you seen anything about it on the internet? Let's put it another way.
I know how it ends with the Changeling.
Okay, stop there. Because spoilers. I'll put a link in the description. If you want to see the spoiler ending for Curse of the Wulfen, there'll be a link in the description to Wargamer Sean. He's done it. Go check that out. But I just don't want to do it here because I don't want to slap a spoiler warning on the front of this video because I just can't be bothered. So, basically, big change, big shift, and I think two things are going to happen. One of two. One, every player of a certain chapter is going to rage quit. Two, there's going to be a Deus Ex Machina when they follow it up. I feel like there's going to be
Deus Ex somewhere in the story.
No, there's a Deus Ex Machina that set up Age of Sigmar, but then there's a Deus Ex Machina within the universe, which is, I think, almost necessary to stop everybody crying.
Yeah, sometimes I wish there weren't so many.
Hey, without it, there wouldn't be an Imperium left without it.
Yeah, it feels like we're constantly hanging on bleeding
That's
one little one to keep us going, I guess.
That's the point, though. That's what people love about 40k. And this is, someone actually left a comment on one of my videos saying to do a top 5 of things I wish GW would do.
Right.
And top of my list, I never made the video, and in fact, I probably do make the video sometime, is move the lore, give us more fluff. And now they've done it, and everybody's basically crying foul.
And before that, every other time they did something small, where they moved it a little bit, they were like, yeah, but it hasn't done anything really, has it? You know?
But now they do something big, and everyone's like, ah, disaster.
I think it can only be good.
I think people wouldn't be so bothered if AOS hadn't happened, because a lot of people, for one reason or another, hate AOS.
A lot of people haven't tried AOS. And at the very least, they haven't tried it properly. They've tried to do it like they always did do it, and it doesn't really work.
No, basic infantry blocks are terrible now.
That's a problem.
I feel like monsters are too good. Like, if you don't have 30 infantry or 20 plus infantry, you don't use infantry. Ever.
I think they need overarching formations. Obviously they've got the units, but then they've got formations, but they need a kind of a structure. They need something to encourage you to use these troops.
Like a force org.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think
maybe not compulsory force org, but just a benefit to doing it. You know what I mean?
Kind of like Battleforge versus Unbound.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, that was the great non-debate. But yeah, I feel like monster heroes need to be capped, because if you're I fought Archaon and Scarbrand and Fate Weaver on the same board, and I was like, what am I supposed to do against? I almost beat the guy.
Oh, you did pretty well. Come on.
Well, that's because he was an idiot. I'll be honest. That he claimed his whole reason for why he had to take all this stupid OP stuff was the noob factor. I knew I need this good stuff to be good. Shut up.
Yeah, I know. There's someone I play regularly who plays the Lizard Men. They're always grey. The only colour on them is he has green stuffed tails. That's like the only colour on them. And he has like Lord Croak, Temple Guard, that Chakax.
Yeah, the Eternity Warden. I mean, I've faced Lizardmen, not like Temple Guard spam Lizardmen, but I faced Lizardmen, and I have to be honest, I owe my Executioners literally every benefit under the sun. They're OP as hell. They're so good.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been looking through Grand Alliance Chaos, trying to find something that can snipe out something like Lord Croak. Well, actually, it's actually Chatax that holds the line together, not the Slan.
Yeah, the Slan are useful, but it's the key stuff like Chatax that get in the way.
So, I actually managed to get a Hell Cannon today, but I don't know how well that's going to do.
Well, I faced a Hell Cannon, and honestly, it did all the Hell Cannon did was shoot 2 sorceresses and maul half a squad of Cold One Knights to death in combat. They're too good in combat. They're actually almost... The problem is, they fire twice when you have 2 crew, which is ridiculous.
And they're not very good at killing heroes.
All they did to me was kill my heroes.
Really?
Yeah, it sniped out. It fired 2 shots at my Cold One sorceress and just sniped her out. Dead.
Right.
I mean, they're not...
Sorceresses aren't really very strong with that kind of thing.
She had 6 wounds and a 4 or 5 up save, so...
Really?
Yeah.
That's more than a Chaos Sorcerer, that's surprising.
Well, she was on a cold one.
Yeah, but even so, I get my Sorcerer on Demonic Mount. You think a scantily clad woman would be less tough than some...
It's the big giant reptile that gives the extra wound.
Alright.
Because Dreadlord on cold one's the same thing. Extra wound.
She's still practically naked then.
Yeah, well, moving on. Have you seen my Witch Elves and Blood Rat Medusa?
Yeah.
Exactly, stop arguing.
Yeah, but we know that Witch Elves aren't very strong though, don't we? Well, they're strong, but they're not exactly very tough.
No, they have no save, that's a fair point. But yeah, it's...
No save whatsoever.
Say again?
They have no save whatsoever?
Nope.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why you need the Cauldron. The Cauldron gives them a 5-up invuln. So useful.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's a nice model with that, because whatever way you build it, you end up with lots of extra things.
Yeah, I mean, I got a Death Hag and a Medusa out of it, but I could have equally got Hellebron out of it instead, or I could have had both of them.
Hey, I was thinking, back at the end times, I would get that and use that model as Tyrion, because they never said it explicitly in the book that this is what Tyrion looks like now. He looks like...
apparently he looked the same, he was just possessed by Cain.
Yeah. I was disappointed by that.
I was disappointed we got no Malekith. Forget Tyrion, screw Tyrion. I wanted Malekith back. Give me the eternal... Like, you put Nagash out, you put Thanquol out, you put badass stuff out, and no elves, no Malekith.
Yeah, in fact, Cain was the only release that didn't get any new releases.
Yeah, and the other thing is, like, why... Just why didn't you do that? It would have been so awesome.
I think they must have been more prepared than people give them credit for, and they knew that Malekith was going to end up
fusing.
not looking like Malekith.
Yeah, he fused with his dragon, so...
They couldn't carry him forwards, you know, so...
Yeah, I sort of understand... Like, now, looking at AOS, I see why, but at the time, it was like, you did what?
Yeah, I was really disappointed. Especially because the front cover of Cain is this awesome, like, avatar, which looks way cool.
It looks so good. The model on the front of Cain is so good.
I really want that Cain model from the Portrait of Blood. I want to repose it so it's sort of stalking forward, sort of pointing at someone or something like that. Although the Portrait one is great as well.
One of my friends has sort of got a little bit of Eldar, and I've said if ever I'm home, just plonk it on a base and have it as an avatar if you need it.
Yeah.
I just wish they sold Medusas outside of the Cauldron box, because I love Medusas. They're right cool.
Medusas, oh right, on their own. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just shoot it at a 10-man squad. It's 6s to wound. Roll a 6, get a mortal wound. Look your opponent in the eye, it's a 5-up. And it's 1 shot per Medusa per unit member. So 3 Medusas at a 10-man squad is 30 shots.
That's interesting. So it is kind of like turn to stone kind of thing.
Yeah, well, no, it's less turn to stone, more like make them erupt in fountains of blood, because dark elves. But it's...
I suppose the...
Apologies, memory ran out again. I'm getting out. I don't know what to do about this whole memory issue because I'm doing it on my phone rather than a camera, and I really just don't know how I'm going to fix it. I need a camera, but then editing becomes an issue. My phone's really good for that. So sorry about the cutout, but we're going to actually now have the end times discussion because I keep meaning to do it, and then we're probably going to wrap up, try and get it within about 35 minutes. So yeah. Anyway, so with Curse of the Wulfen, that's done. What happens, assuming no Deus Ex, no reset, where does 40k go?
I'm not absolutely sure where it ends, so...
Oh, okay. Do you think, okay, nobody knows, but do you think it ends with Abaddon killing the Emperor? Will they go there?
Nah. Well, actually, I kind of want the Emperor to die. I mean, if you know anything about, like, what could happen if he does... What he's currently doing at the moment is kind of like the worst possible outcome. He's just sitting there, just sort of
keeping humanity alive.
That's kind of important, but do we want the Emperor to come back at all? I mean, like, we want the Primarchs to come back. Let's be honest. But
and we want the Custodes to get out of the bloody palace and fight.
Exactly. But do we want the Emperor to come back?
Well, the issue, like, I did a bit of talk about this, and the idea in my head is what they're going to do is they're either going to go through the Abaddon route and hit the reset button, kill the Emperor, and see what comes out the other side.
Right.
Or they bring the Emperor back and have him play a Sigmar type role, where he sort of plays the Great General, and the Custodies sort of take the Stormcast role. They're the new Conquerors, and you get Primarchs being created. The Chaos steals some and create their own Primarchs, or the old ones come back, and we go at it.
I don't know if I probably wouldn't want that, because that would be quite an optimistic outlook on things. And I like 40k because it isn't an optimistic.
Oh, well, you can still go down the whole humanity's in trouble route, because all you've done is, instead of have it where the Emperor is decaying on the Golden Throne, but the Imperium is still backed into a corner, you still have the Imperium backed into a corner, but now there's a chance, because the Custodies are back and the Primarchs are back.
Right.
And that's how I would do it anyway. Or do it for complete funsies and just blast everything that's human out of existence and just let the Orcs and Necrons duke it out and see if they can kill each other before the Tyranids turn up and eat them all.
Yeah.
That would be funny.
I don't want to go off topic. I'm just into what Tyranids now, but yeah.
Yeah,
That's the other thing. I mean, what is a bigger threat, Chaos or Tyranids? I mean, like, when you think of end times, you think of Chaos, right?
You do, because Archaon and all that, and Be'lakor.
Yeah, or you just think of, like, whenever you think about what's going to be the Imperium, it's probably going to be Chaos, because it's Horus Heresy again, you know?
Yeah, Horus Heresy 2.0. But
in my mind, like, the Tyranids scare me more than Chaos does.
Well, the problem is with Tyranids is, yes, on an equal basis to Chaos, they're the greater threat. But what happens if the Tyranids win is just obliteration. If Chaos win, throne help. It's a whole different aesthetic setup to having, everything's just barren now and that's the end. I think if GW wants to kill 40k, they'll do it with the Tyranids. If they want to reboot, then they'll do it with Chaos.
Because there are a lot of different fronts they need to sort out. I mean, they expose the biggest Tyranid to sort of keep the Tyranids at bay. I mean,
we have
we're
the
not going
Orcs.
to make Tyranid end times.
We have the
We've
Orcs.
got Octavius. Is it Octavius or Octarius?
Octarius.
Yeah.
So I mean, Ghazghkull's got the Tyranids basically under his left boot at the minute, and he's going to just go and cause all hell.
That's what it is. He's actually beaten the Tyranids.
Well, he threw them off Octarius for a while, at any rate.
Really?
Yeah. He killed he got eaten by a Morlock and ripped it apart from the inside.
That's cool.
That's Ghazghkull. But he's going around, he's done Armageddon, he's done Octarius, and he's going to leave, and he's going to create another massive war, I think, against the Tau, kind of like the War of Daka done right, or against the Farsight Enclave, and then he'll move again, and he'll set up a big war against maybe a demonic incursion, and he'll set up a big war against the Necrons, and eventually he'll get enough war energy, and he'll literally just blast the Chaos Gods out of existence.
I'm guessing you're on the Orc side then.
I've been playing Orcs since I was 12. I'm now 19.
Orcs was my first army. They were my first army.
Well, it was that or...
Because when you break things, Orcs are the best army for that, because they look like they're meant to be like that. You know, if they've got a broken axe stick, it's kind of like...
who cares? Who cares? Yeah, I get you. Orcs have always been... I don't know, I nearly went Chaos and started Red Corsairs with Blackheart, but I went Orcs partly because they were in Black Reach, and... actually, yeah, it was primarily because they were in Black Reach. But I never looked back. Do you remember Wazdaka?
Where is Wazdaka? I'm waiting for him to come back.
Yeah, please. You've had 2 expansions now. Give me my Guts mech back.
I know. When I first had rumours, the Red War, I was thinking like, this can only mean one thing. And then it's just some random other war boss. He's cool, but he's not Wazdaka.
He's not.
Like, where?
And all the people like saying, you don't need Wazdaka, just use the guy from Forward World. Yes, you've got the guy from Forward World, he'll be fine. He's not Wazdaka.
No.
The problem with Wazdaka was that he had no invuln. Curiously. He was a mech, but he had no invulnerable save. So he just died all the time. He was shit.
Did you have a model for him then?
There was no model for him. I converted him up twice.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
The first one, I made it. You remember the story where he drove off a cliff and landed in that Warlord Titan?
I only remember the one from the old Green Codex with that mech, with all the Gretchen round the fire or whatever. He was telling them about the story.
I don't know that one. But in the 4th edition Codex, he drove off a cliff, landed in a Warlord Titan on fire, killed the crew while on fire.
I did that one. I do remember that
one.
But
basically, I sort of recreated that on a little scenic, it's the piece of Lego, a little Lego brick, like he was riding off of it.
That's awesome. But yeah, anyway, So how would they do the end times then? Would they sort of keep it? Because I think the way they're doing these supplements, I think that'd be a great way to do it. Lead it into, maybe not even call it that, but sort of keep it going with these supplements. Sort of keep.
That's what they've been doing for. That's what they've been doing since like 6th edition now. I'm hearing talks of like between the Dark Eldar and the Admech about fixing the Golden Throne. I've heard, or
like
shadowy Cypher's been moving toward Terra if you track him. Yeah. All these sorts of things. So they've been doing it for a while.
Pieces are more obviously moving now. I mean, like the Tower one, you could say that wasn't contributing it, but I don't know. If you look at the Tower one, the Tower now better placed to face the end times now than they ever have been. They've got their greatest general, and to me, the greatest idiot in the Tower is now out of the way. I'm not. You
don't like Farsight?
No, not Farsight. The other guy. Think of the triumvirate of Tau. They've got Shadow Sun, Farsight, and that other guy, right? The Pope. Right?
Oh, all that.
Yeah, well, basically, he's not around now, so...
Oh, I didn't know that.
He was the only one sort of stopping the Tau getting back together with Farsight. So now you've got Farsight and Shadowsun leading the Tau, which is kind of a pretty good way to...
I did not know that. I like that. I like that a lot.
I'm not actually sure it was true, but, like... In fact, I know it's true. I haven't read it in plain.
If it's true, and it's a thing, I love that. I think that's really awesome, because they were both students of Pure Tide as well, so it really comes full circle. What I think is going to happen is, you say how they're going to do it. How I think they'll do it is they'll either do, Abaddon does the Cadian Gate, and he just knocks planet after planet after planet, and then he does Terror. Yeah. He does what Daddy was supposed to do. Or... you do it bug style, and you get the Silent King, because the Silent King's back now, and he creates this grand alliance of Imperials, heck, maybe even the Eldar, to stop the Tyranids, and then you just see how long it lasts before he does a Nagash, turns on everyone, and just harvests everything. You could follow Gazcall through, where you go through the Great War, build it all up, and then bang. Or you could just follow the straight up, everything gets eaten, and then that's the end.
40k is such a bigger deal than fantasy was there, because every single of the big HQ special characters, people care about them so much more. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sure a lot of people really cared about Greaser's Skulltooth, right?
Greaser's was cool.
He was cool. But let's be honest, they could kind of wrap him up with Grimgar's story and sort of say oh, he's dead now, and not many people are going to care that much. But every faction of 40k, if you forget about Vect, yeah, let's say that. If you leave him out of a story, or you sort of do his story too kind of easily...
or you leave him out of the Codex...
I'm going to be honest with you, moving on from Wazdaka, I was more upset about Wazdaka than Vect, mainly because I feel like Vect can come back.
I was more upset about Wazdaka, but I was more surprised about Vect.
Yeah, I see what, I'm probably with you on that. I want them to get Vect out of his dumb chariot. I'll be the first to say that. I know a lot of people
make it like Grimnar, where he has an option. Yeah.
He looks cool and fair. He doesn't look bad on his thing, I guess.
I'll take it or leave it. Anyway, just before my camera decides it's going to have a riot and about memory again, I'm going to wrap the video up. So thank you very much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure.
It's great, man. It's great. Anytime.
Yeah, so I'll put a link to Alex's channel in the description. Go check him out, go subscribe. It'll be well worth your time, I believe. And if you wanted to come back on the show, do let me know. If anyone is watching and does fancy coming on the show, another YouTuber, do feel free to let me know, and I'll be more than happy to accommodate you. Right, thank you very much for watching the video. My name is Michael for Tactica Imperialis with the Yellow Sigmarine, and I managed not to sing the song while I did it. We will see you all another time. Bye for now.